come to the kitchen sink. We will chat, we will make you think. You will not want to go to the loo. You could miss a lot if you had that poo. Stay and watch and join in. Yeah. Yeah. Hello. Hello, you. Hello, everyone out there in dystopian land. How are we doing? Oh, wow. If this is your first time here, I'm Sarah Bridgman, and this is Lucy Orchard. And if you hear squeaking, it's my chair. And we are a comedy chat show. Oh, don't give me the eyebrow already, Lucy. Save something for later. So yeah, we're a comedy chat show. We have a number of segments. We're going to be reviewing a comedy later on. This week we're going to be workshopping some comedy. So I hope Lucy's got some comedy to workshop and having it. Oh wow, that's loads. And having a general catch up. And we also have a fantastic special guest. He's put stuff on BBC Sesh. And he is the guru who's going to make us all very happy, because that's his Edinburgh show, How to Be Happy. And Nathan Webb. So Nathan Webb's coming up later on. We are coming to you broadcasting all the way through from Facebook. We got them all, haven't we? We got Facebook. We've got YouTube. We've got Twitter. No, we share on Twitter, don't we? Twitch. We got Twitch.
There we go.
Yay! We did it. Another seamless intro. So, I think that's everything. Hi, everyone. So how are you? Feel free to join in the chat. We will share some of the funniest ones that we find. And so, yeah, you might not see each other's because you're all over the place. But we see you. We see you. And so, yeah, join in. How are you? How's your week been? What's happening? Lucy, what's happening with you?
Today, I was taking big rocks
Ooh.
to a clay pit in the rain.
How exciting.
So when it rains in a clay pit, you get puddles of clay.
Right.
And I had to open the back of my truck and all the rocks come out. And on the last tip at 4 o'clock, opened the back and I watched a big boulder come out of the back of the truck, land in 6 inches of clay puddle, and just come over my face, over my top, down my trousers.
Only 7 p.m, Lucy. Stop talking about stuff coming all over your face, please.
As it came out of my mouth, I realised how it sounded.
Well, frankly, it sounds like you got covered in mud water.
I said to the puddle, not in my hair. No, what are we talking about?
Yeah, half the audience have disappeared. They've gone off to masturbate, probably. Yeah, so that's exciting. I haven't had anything nearly as exciting happen to my face in a number of months, actually, if not years. Have you noticed? So, what do you think? No, smash my hair. I've decided new makeup. I used to, as you can see behind me. I forgot to put my lights on again. Showbiz, everyone. Show business.
There we go.
That makes all the difference, doesn't it? Ooh, yeah, that's my toolbox.
Yeah, we can definitely hear that.
I have got a toolbox for something that will become clear later. But as you can see, I love my these are Gil Elfgren, who used to paint what they call cheesecake models. That's what they used to call them in America, like pin-up girls. And thanks for that, Luke. That's an interesting set of emojis. That was you earlier on, Lucy. And yeah, so I do like that pin-up style, but I've got to be in the mood to chuck it on. You probably won't see much difference, but there's a little bit of eyeliner, a bit of red lippy, job done.
I love your bandana.
Thank you.
I can never get the little bits. I can, but your colourings go with your wall. Absolutely delightful, and I think you're looking. I think you're looking like a cheesecake model yourself today, darling.
Oh, thanks very much.
When I wear those bandana-y headbandy things, and this is not a problem. I'm very lucky it comes out this way, but I do go more Rosie the Riveter land girl
Oh,
than a
Rosie.
Belle. I end up looking more like Rosie than I
Yeah.
do. Like I don't look like I'm a blonde bombshell. I look like I'm here to change the oil filter.
A little bit of history lesson for those who don't know who Rosie the Riveter is. She was an actual real person and used to work in a munitions factory. And her image has been used to, for feminism, and I think it's been used for all sorts of stuff, LGBTQ plus probably, but feminism in particular. So it's a really fantastic. That's the one. Yeah, that was her image. So that's who we're talking about. But you
I'm
are very
thinking I'm
handy.
going to look quite, sort of boho, chic, and I always come out literally looking at it a little bit more mechanical. And
Yeah.
I don't mind that. But even when I put the floral light pastel colours on, I'm thinking this will make me seem girly. I'm still like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't help but be who we are, isn't it? I'd love to be a little, delicate little light thing. This is what women are meant to, yes, exactly. Women are meant to be these little delicate things for men to look after. I'd love to be a little delicate thing. But you know what? My first boyfriend said to his mum in front of me why he liked me, because she's strong. And he didn't mean like strong-minded. He meant
Emotionally.
strong, like I could pick him up. So that's why he liked me. So it takes all sorts.
What did he want you to do? Plough his field?
Well, I don't know. No, he was really into cars actually.
Just in case he needed a push.
Yeah, he just needed a push up the hill. That's all that was. His car's always breaking down.
I remember. Hang on, Luke's put little delicate things get cold faster. Hey, see, thank you, Luke. Luke is messaging
Like I'm robust.
Luke is watching this all the way from Canada.
Oh hi! Oh
Yeah, Luke was on Big World Small Talk with us. Luke, Matt Goss, not Luke Goss. Awfully sorry, wrong brother. I saw Luke. I saw Goss.
Matt Goss, not from Broth.
Matt Goss. Sarah used to deadlift people on stage.
I did.
There you go.
I used to chuck them over my shoulder and do like a squat them on my back.
And that means do not heckle Sarah.
I will pick you up.
That reminds me, I was at a party on Dartmoor. Because living in Devon, you can do that. So it was called free parties where it's CAGB.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is.
Cage fighting. I'd like to have a go at cage fighting actually.
I know a cage.
I did do one go of what's that one where they fight with their feet? Foot boxing. It's not foot boxing, is it? What's that called? Can anyone tell us?
It's just where you lie down and do it from sort of hips down, or is it just the feet? Because that'd be big
hit people with your feet. It's like it's a martial art.
Capoeira?
Oh god, it wouldn't have been that. It would have been foot fighting. It's not foot fighting, but that is literally what it is. I did one go of that.
Were you in jelly, and was there a man taking pictures?
I was wearing a very nice bikini at the time. No, it's a legitimate thing. You're fighting with your feet. Come on. Oh, I'm going to have to Google it. I know what it is.
I'm Googling what CAGB for our podcast listeners. Right. Luke, the amazing comedian from kickboxing. No, I thought you meant
kickboxing. That's it. I did one bloody session of kickboxing.
Would you mix martial arts?
Yeah. And I did like one session out of a 1 hour session, about half an hour of it was blinking burpees. It was really tough, and I was not fit at the time. And then the other half hour, you had to pair up with someone. And I know it's kickboxing, and I know it's like your feet are involved because of the word kick implies kicking. But I didn't think anyone would actually kick me. And I didn't like it. I don't mind kicking other people. I don't mind hitting out. I did not like being on the receiving end. So yeah, I like the idea of it, and I like the idea of cage fighting, but I wouldn't want to actually do it, I don't think.
Lou,
I think
you're going to have to tell us what CAGB stands for, because I do not think that it has anything to do with cholesterol, gallstones, and the cancer of gallbladder. Because if it does, keep it light, mate. This is a comedy show.
oh, but yeah, I'm gonna reach inside your body and rip out your gallbladder. I'd love to do wrestling actually. A couple of years ago, I was going to do some proper wrestling, like because I'm attracted to the costumes, so I like but I really wanted to do it, and I went to watch some wrestling over in Neath Talbot in the Princess Theatre, the Royal Princess Theatre, the Princess Royal Theatre, named after Princess Anne, who is lovely, but she's not a bloody main royal, is she? So let's be Talbot for you. She's not. Come on. Well, she is, but she's not.
She's the Princess Royal. She's the Princess Royal. She's like, sorry, Princess is here. I'm the princess.
I am the princess.
I am the princess.
Yeah, that's true. And she is one of my. If you have to have a favorite royal.
This is complete tangent land. But did you watch the documentary on her 50th birthday? It was fantastic. The woman is a machine. So it followed her on a daily outing, right? She's like up at 5. She does her own hair, her own makeup. She's in the car. She goes and does this, and she still remembers everyone's name and where she has to go. She stops and shakes everybody's hand and actually pays attention when she asks a question and listens to the answer. Within 3 hours, she's done 4 events. She's in a helicopter. She's flying somewhere else. She's changing her shoes up in the blue sky. She honestly
doesn't mess around.
She doesn't mess around. Then she'll go all the way through to like a dinner and dance in the night to make charity gala. I mean, I was tired watching the documentary on the sofa in pajamas.
Yeah, but it is. She's got one job. Come on, if that's all I had to do, and I had people behind me going, "This is Clive. He, splashes people with mud water." I'd be like, "Hi, Clive. How's it going?" I'm not dissing her. She is amazing. If I wanted to meet any royal, I wouldn't want to meet her because she's terrifying. But I'm not dissing her. But if you're going to have a theatre, I think I'd rather name it after, if it had to be a royal, I think I'd rather name it after like a popular one, maybe. She's not very popular.
You're going down the Eugenie.
Princess Beatrice Royal. No, anyway, we're getting off the point. I went to watch wrestling there, and it was there that I realised that I don't think my body could take it. When you won't know, but you get to a point when you hit your mid-40s and you think, oh, maybe I can't do absolutely anything I want physically because stuff starts going a bit south, really. And I'm afraid of breaking bones.
I'm getting more and more aware of it. So I do a nice physical day's work, and I'm thinking, physical work. Because I do feel better, respond better, act better, think better when I've had a physical day's work.
Yeah.
And when I was on the Arctic, I'd have to get out and do stuff and And now I pull up somewhere, and because it's sort of health and safety, I don't even get out of the cab. And if I forget to go if I forget to go for a wee that day, I've got up at 6. I've got in the truck at 6:30, and I've got back out of it at 5:30, and I haven't moved out of the seat. You sit there, you just eat, and you think, oh, okay, that's not right, probably. And then you go and sit down you just sort of sit down on the sofa to watch a bit of TV, and then when you go to get up, you realise your entire body is set like some sort of modeling clay that's been left on the windowsill. And I get up, but I'm still in the seated position. What?
Oh my word!
I don't think this is right.
I don't think that's healthy. Give it a couple of years.
Right. And then what I do then is instead of doing anything about it, I just make myself feel guilty for not attending yoga. I find that that's really efficient.
Efficient.
Yeah, just to chastise myself over and over again for not doing Pilates and not doing yoga, as opposed to actually doing it. So I'm fucking knackered.
Yeah. Can I just say, if you're listening or watching, do some stretching. If you're a young person, just you probably are anyway, because the young ones know exactly what's what. Just do it, because I'm sure no one told me that I just feel like I'm a bit too young for everything to start seizing up a bit, really.
Yeah.
And it is, everything starts seizing up. Once you hit 40, honestly, and I'm like, oh my God, I think I probably did know and didn't want to do it. So, oh well, crack on, everyone, do what you want. But Luke is writing a screenplay. Now, who's Will Summers and Jane Full?
I know that name.
Oh, they're jesters for Henry VIII, are they?
Right,
oh, I see.
Way back when, being a jester for the court was a really important job, and you could sneer and look down on people because even though you were the court fool, you were still better than everybody else's. I think there was a high mortality rate for people that were no longer funny.
I thought
fine line, but yeah, I think jesters were able to really look down on people like, you know, I'm the court jester, you're just a farmer, or whatever it was they did in those days.
I don't know, but I know that their job, part of their job was they were like one of the only people that could make fun of the king or queen and reflect back to them like the ridiculousness of their jesters delivered the bad news. Is that where "Don't Shoot the Messenger" comes from, do you think? But I thought that was Greek times.
I thought that was more Western Union. I mean, you couldn't go further. Literally,
that was UPS.
You were like 200s.
I got to Google this. I find all this stuff fascinating. But in the time of Google, it's just in and out straight away. It doesn't stay in the old long-term memory. Talking of memories, we've got a question to ask. Don't let me forget the question.
We have both. I mean, I've got to be honest, I even tagged the guest in on the question so that there'd be 3 of us involved.
We have a regular viewer, huge anus, and Hugh. His name is Hugh Anus. I knew
it when you call it huge. Huge. No, it's Hugh. It's definitely Hugh.
I know. I'm making a choice, and but yes, he wasn't happy with me last week because he has to do night shifts, and he did have a lovely question for last week's guest, Priya Hall.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot until after he'd gone. So this week he not only has he sent me a personal tweet he slid into my DMs with this little, right, here's this, and it is a doozy of a question. That's what I love about you. It's not like, ooh, tell us about your favorite thing. It is like, oh my God, do you work for the CIA? It's that level of in depth he's gone into. It's like he's going to ask questions their own mothers didn't even know about, like what's the size of your inside mole and your inside thigh or something. It's really intimate personal question. So they're good questions, but it's just totally slipped my mind. He's not happy, so I've got to make sure I remember that this week.
Yes, and without spoiling the question, I thought it was delightful that he phonetically spelt out the Welsh word for two Welsh people.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. Is that a Welsh word?
I know that one. I have seen that word before. Have you not?
No.
Maybe it didn't go past the valleys. I don't know.
Is it Welsh? I'm going to go on Twitter now and see. Anyway. What have you got anything else to tell me about this week, Luce?
I do.
I always do. Come on now.
You do. So this week, you know how I'd like doing my drop comedy club that I do in South Bend, Indiana. So I hosted this week, and I watched it back, and I really enjoyed my performance.
Oh, good.
And I get really annoyed.
Anyone else?
The thing is, when
that's good. I'm really pleased.
Online comedy, I can do the opening, the not opening bit, but the opening bit, the do a bit of your own laughy jokey, cover a few of the rules, and then you do the bit in between the acts, which in real life it could be just as quick as let's keep it going, bring on the next act. But with Zoom, it's actually important to be able to do a bit of talking because then it gives you a chance to reset the timer and do the tech and and check that they haven't buggered off or the lost connection. Here's an empty screen.
Yeah.
I really
hard as well because the drop has got so many acts. And when you're hosting on that Zoom, then not everyone is necessarily on the screen in front of you. So sometimes you're going, and the next act is, and your face is staying on the camera, and you're frantically looking for the buggers. It's like, where are you? Three screens over.
I'm enjoying hosting it more and more and more and more and more. But I really can't wait to try it in real life and actually do the practicing of the, oh, where are you from? You know,
yes,
what's your favourite, this, that, and the other, and I'm loving the fact that they've given me the opportunity to practice the hosting, because I mean that's more than I would have had anyway. So I'm enjoying that bit, but I really can't wait to actually practice. Because I did an MC course, I think it was a week before lockdown. I really shoehorned all of that activity in between February the 9th. I did 13 gigs and a course.
Yeah.
I was fucking busy. And the guy taught us really important skills and tips for crowd interaction. And I really wanted to have a go. And I think it might be that I could try it with the drop, but it's having the balls to go, I'm gonna give it a go online.
Just do it. Remember Barry Castanova?
Exactly. If you put them on speaker view, then there can be a back and forth. You haven't got to click, 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 click. So it's about, I mean, we're not going anywhere. This online comedy thing I really enjoy. So what I'm going to do is next time I'm hosting, I'm going to make a definite effort to try a bit of audience participation. If it doesn't work, drop it short, go back to what I was doing. Yeah,
well, we've got a new segment coming up in a moment, which we should get on with, I guess, really, because we've got a couple of things to do before Nathan comes on, and that's comedy workshop. So maybe that's something we could practice within our comedy workshop thing. Every other week we can have Shani telling us stuff she's learned, what she's learned, and then the weeks Shani's not here, we're doing our comedy workshop. So have we got our intro ready? Let's do it. New intro. I did rush that one. I did rush it. I will admit.
How quickly were you like, find me some fucking tools?
I was like, do you know, I do this every week. 6:30, I'm sat down on the sofa, slobbily eating my tea, going, I suppose I better go and chuck some makeup on in a minute. And then I think, I've got plenty of time. I've got half an hour. And then next thing I look around, it's like 3 minutes to go. I'm like, what? I did spend 10 minutes on that. But I will. I quite like it. So it might stay. Like it. Do you like it? It'll stay.
I walked into our workshop and they went, oh, what's wrong with the truck? And I went, can you take a picture of me, please? And I just looked for like, just so that will do. Go on then. Because, the other picture I had of me in a workshop, unfortunately, was up against the wall of all the naked ladies. And if we weren't streaming on Twitch, we would be able to show nipples.
I don't think you're allowed nipples on Facebook, are you?
Oh, yeah, because the breastfeeding stuff.
People keep getting... You can show men's breasts, men's nipples, but not women's nipples. Because even though boobs are there to feed children, they're not a sexual object. Society's turned them into a sexual object. It's a bit of a bugbear of mine. But they...
I mean, I wouldn't say they're tools for feeding children. I'd say they're the only tools for feeding children, because if you try to do it on a man, it just be
very quite hungry, I should imagine. Trying to get
trying to milk a boob.
Bit of male boobage. Right, Lucy, you have some. I'm keeping an eye on the time. You've got comedy.
Yeah, I was going to say, so you keep an eye on the time, because I'll be right. So ages and ages ago, I came up with I started doing something in my real life, and that's where comedians, they get a lot of their inspiration from. They'll do something that makes them chuckle, and they go, "Oh, can I string this out?" And
that's a bit of a show.
Yeah, I mean, it was only a second of time, but can I make half an hour out of this? And so I wanted to do something about manning up, and not manning up in the way that everyone goes, oh, man up to men if they're not doing something testosterone and blokey. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to play with the gender roles without offending anybody, which is a very
Why don't you want to offend anyone?
because I just, especially with a lot of people coming out with their gender identities and their pronouns, I don't want to be saying that you should man up, and manning up is the only way to do things. I'm playing on the fact that when I tried to do more manly attitudes in my life, I got more of them. I got what I wanted. And it's sort of, it's not, I'd say if someone says something like, oh, I don't know if I can say this, like say when you say about Sarah Slim's, like, oh, sorry to mention it, and I'm like, fucking promote yourself, because a woman's not taught to promote themselves.
No. We're taught to be submissive and look pretty. That's our job in society.
Yeah, and I think it's very much like, do you remember when we were talking to, what's the lovely lady?
Which is wrong, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to change that. I'm not saying and as it should be. You know, I totally disagree with that, but
it's sort of like, I want to. It's a mixture of putting yourself forward and being assertive, whilst also putting it to the universe. So what I did is so this is how long ago this was. This is when we had the opportunity to do that social media course. And even though I couldn't afford it, at the time of the application being available, I still put my name down for it. And I thought, something will happen, it'll happen.
Lucy, I'm being a bitch, but quick question. Are we going to get to the comedy yet? Come on, this is the comedy writing workshop. You can tell us some comedy and we're going to workshop it, and anyone that's watching can join in. So come on, what have you got? So you're talking about manning up.
Yeah. So I was
what have you got?
putting myself forward when I didn't have the means. I know that when a big name comedian asked for people to go on their podcast, I said I'm being more male.
Yeah.
I know I'm brand new, but I'm still putting myself down. And she said, fucking brilliant. That's why you're going on the list. And it was just a couple of things. And I'm trying to find the comedy routine in it. There's just so many things happened in 1 week that all came together. So do you remember when I said I'm being more male? And I said it's enough to make me feel enough to make me noticed, but not enough for you to feel me pushing up against you on the tube.
Yes. Have you got any stories, like, I don't know, it could have been from your childhood, it could be from anywhere, that, you know, do you want to, you know, are these going to be one-liners? Do you want to tell a story? Is it worth writing everything you've just said to me out in longhand and looking for the funny in it? That's a good joke. I like that joke with the
tube,
you know, with the pushing yourself forward. I'm, you know, one of my issues with comedy writing is that I have to, I'm so wordy, you know, I'm very wordy, and I have to put out the full thing and then edit, then strip away at it, and even look at what is funny about it. And sometimes you just can't see the wood for the trees, and you just can't, because you're too close to it. It's happened too recently. But so you know, we could look at you know, a bit of wordplay, a bit of, you know, I look at, you know, stories, what's happened, is there something amusing that's happened to do with this wanting to man up, or, you know, or even the phrase man up. Have you an opinion about that? You know, how do you feel strongly about it? Do you think it's a good phrase or a bad phrase? Do you think it's a helpful phrase? Do you think it's quite toxic for society? You know, it could be a rant, it could be an actual opinion piece.
Sorry, I've just noticed a comment from Luke saying,
That's funny, Luke.
I've noticed a lot less people struggling against me on the tube now with social distancing. Well, I mean, there's certain things that we have to
a bloody long penis. Yeah. I'm really grateful for social distancing. I don't have to hug people anymore. It's fantastic.
But also, do you remember I sent you a picture of somebody had a social, it said, you know, on Facebook, it said people you may know. and it was a comedian that was had a fruit bowl with the planets in the fruit bowl, and he was eating the world, and it made me think of that was just the most male fucking outlook on how I can have the world in my hand and take a fucking bite, whilst women are sort of like, well, I'll Photoshop that so it makes me look thinner.
Yeah, yeah. It's not women's fault though.
No,
It's because we're our value in society. It's all about looks. If you're good looking, or if you have symmetrical facial features and are tall and slim, you're going to go far. It's a lot harder. It's almost like this is going to sound horrendous. I don't want to offend anyone. So don't come for me. But I just think it's almost like if you're not deemed attractive, and I include myself in that, because like I'm not a model and not attractive. I'm pretty. People have called me pretty if I put makeup on, but I'm not seen as an attractive person. And you've got to work harder to get stuff, and it gets worse as you get older. So it's almost like a disability, really. But
I'm looking at my notes, and I think that I can see a rhythmic pattern to the lines, because I'm at the moment it's just a spider diagram. So it's sort of like set up, and then I'd say, what would a man do? And then what happened, kind of thing. So like, I couldn't afford the course. What would a man do? Put my name down anyway. And yeah, actually, when it came to it, I could afford it. And the other thing I've got written down is I hit 400 likes on my Facebook page. Instead of just going, thank you, I thought, what would a man do? And I asked people to tell more people, and I hit 500 in 2 days. Instead of just taking the 400 and going, oh my God, that's amazing. I thought, what would a man do? Ask for more. And I got him.
There's something in that. It's not funny yet, but there's something in it.
That's what. This is what I'm finding difficult, because it's just sometimes I get jokes and they're just like, "Oh, that's really funny. That's really funny." But I can see there's something in here, but I can't. I can't work out how to mine it.
Just keep writing. Just keep writing. Keep it in the back of your head, and then something will come. If anyone's got any suggestions, please put it down.
And this is the only fail I had on my week of manning up, is where I tried to go into a shop to talk to a manager about having a job there. And this old haggard woman wouldn't let me get past her. She was like Gandalf in like Lord of the Rings. Thou shalt not pass. And I kept sort of thinking, what would a man say? And I was like, well, do you want to take my name? Do you want to get a pen and write this down?
Yeah. I think you could think of loads of what would a man do in certain situations. If the situations we find ourselves, what would a man do? You could talk about, what would a man, and even, it's like, what would Jesus do? You could have it like tattooed, or, you'd have those wristbands with WWMD, which is, MD, managing director, which is ironically 99% male. There's loads in there.
I think instead of me looking at it as man up, I think changing it and going, what would a man do, is going to give me better rhythm on the lines. And I think then the funny's going to come out better. I know it doesn't seem like you're watching this, but this has really helped me.
That's what we're all here for, Lucy. Just to help you.
Well, yeah, it's called a fucking workshop.
I think you should do a massive list. I mean massive. Think of in the next week, just think of everything you can think of. What would a man do? In a commonly female situation. That's got to be a start.
Yeah. Oh, I'm feeling a lot better about that. This has not moved. This has been stagnant for so long. Now I've actually got something else to work with. Thank you for that, because I started getting intimidated by the fact there weren't any jokes in it. I knew there could be, but I couldn't, like pulling the starter motor on a lawnmower.
It's a huge subject as well, isn't it? It's not like, hey guys, anybody drinking? It's quite an in-depth. I'm sure there's a clever word for it, but my brain's not working today, as ever. So existential? No, it's not existential. Where's Paul Dennis when he...
Oh, I don't know. Hang on. Is that my...
Hello?
I'm
So
just
Lucy
turning my.
said, what would I do? Take a nap, eat a sandwich, downplay, come on your back and leave. I don't. Wow, what's that mean?
He spelled it wrong. It's COME, isn't it?
Well, that's what that water did earlier.
Yeah. I mean,
it was on your back.
Don't know if we can see today's special guest, but
Oh, I saw on your poor kitty has been at the vet today.
she's been spayed. She's not meant to be jumping around. She's meant to be sleeping. She's told both of those ideas to fuck off. Have you seen? And there's a complete sidebar, but have you seen?
Is that the end of the comedy workshop?
You don't see them with cones of shame anymore. They have little baby grows.
Did they? Oh, it's so cute.
Because they don't know how to use them for the first half hour. They just do roly-polies around the living room.
That is adorable. You better be videoing. Sending me little videos.
As soon as this show is over, she's getting the baby grow and I'm going to be filming it. So don't worry.
Please. Yeah. Yes.
I'm happy with my workshop because I've now got impetus and an idea. So I'm going to be making throughout the week a list of what would a man do. And knowing me, I'll probably put it on Twitter.
Yeah, and I would say if anybody's got any suggestions for Lucy, please tweet us. Tweet her at us on there and give us some suggestions. What would a man do?
Yeah.
Okay. So next up we have, thank you for that, and I'm looking forward to seeing the results in 2 weeks. So next up, not that I'm pushing you at all, but I am pushing you. We have our old and new comedy review.
Yay. So hang on, let's bring up the back. Oh, we've got a comment. Just sit down and write out bullet points. Oh, sit down. You can't tell me what to do. I will do it sat down, actually.
Don't do it while you're driving.
The thing is, I can tell hearing to make a note. I can't think. I can't say the word right now. My phone goes off.
She was jealous, bitch. She's always listening.
So, this was an absolute.
Hang on a minute.
Yes, I was going to
intro for that. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, me.
I want to see the cat again. That's the movie. So like, you better roll up BT. I need to see Coco.
Show stealing, bitch.
So cute.
So I've uploaded a few stills from it because our New Year's resolution is not to get banned on Facebook. It's taking down some of the greats. So it is Whiskey Galore, which is a black and white British movie, which has got it's cult status now. So here's a few of the stills. That's them hiding the whiskey upstairs. And then of course you've got a very angry little mother versus a tall guy. And then this is I have to confess, one of my crushes when I was little, which is James Robert Justice.
Well, the guy on the left.
No, that's my ex. It's the guy on the right I fancied.
I will admit, me too. There's something about him, wasn't there? Yeah. I loved him.
His name's Justice.
Is it? I never knew his name. I just loved him. He was in Doctor About the House, wasn't it? And the Doctor films as well.
Doctor. Yeah. But it's James Robertson Justice.
James Robertson Justice.
Robertson Justice.
Right, I'm going to look it up because it was a different genre of film than the Carry Ons. They were the Doctor films. But anyway, we can talk about that later.
Yes, it was. Was it Doctor in the House?
It was.
James Robert Justin. There we go. He was best known for playing pompous authority figures, and he was well fit. Come on, give him his full title.
Oh,
He was so hot.
middle-aged man.
I didn't know
born
he
in
was
1907. Oh, and he died 2 years after I was born.
Well, definitely not going to get it then, is he?
No.
Doctor in the House, Doctor in Distress, Doctor at Sea. Oh my God, he was in a film called Murder, She Said. We're watching that. Right. Okay. So yes, he was in. He was in.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
I don't know. I know the film. I'm not.
Anyway, back to Whiskey Galore.
Lancelot Spratt, was that him as well? Yes. So it was your suggestion, so I'll go first. I've watched it on TV when it's come out. I've got it on VHS, but on DVD. It is amazing. Each pairings, each scene. Yes, that it's based about the whole island, but it really focuses on characters from like the son that lives with the mother, the woman who wants to get married to the returning sailor, the doctor and the old man. It really does focus. As a woman, it does. Instantly, you think the whole island comes to stop because a bunch of feckless men won't do anything because they can't have a wee dram at night. Literally, I'd like to get married to this man. Oh no. Why? Because we can't have any whiskey at the wedding. And you're thinking, is that the most important part of the nuptials? Is it? Or is it the commitment to have and to hold until sickness do they part? Or is it your dad getting pissed on whiskey at the end of the night? It really, the old man died without a dram. I mean, the run up to them finding the whiskey was the most pathetic. Oh, but I can't cope. The island's been dry now for months. And it's just like, what? So no one has to go to work. I mean, it was more devastating them not having whiskey than the UK responded to coronavirus, I think. They were like,
yes. We can't buy non-essential items.
And I thought the one beautiful twist, whoever came up with it was a fucking genius, was the fact that the ship was shipwrecked on the holy day and therefore people couldn't do it. I mean, that attention to detail, because you would have thought, fuck it, the police don't want you to rob it, the policeman agrees to be tied up, but the idea the whole island is there waiting for waiting. Like, what time is it? What time is it? And they go and they absolutely take it. I mean, we had it down here when there was a shipwreck. Where was it? Bascombe, I think it was. And they were getting motorbikes, everything. They were like, "Do not go to the sinking ship," and I was like, "Fuck off." But just the idea that it was sort of a little bit like Oriental Express, that everybody played a part. Just the little old lady going up to the tap and going, "Oh no, it's just water." Considering its age, I think it still stands up. Absolutely still stands up. I have seen the remake and it doesn't touch the sides. So well done. Did not expect that to happen.
Thank you. Well, Whiskey Galore, it was made by Ealing Films, which is famous, film production company, and they made classics like The Lady Killers, Passport to Pimlico. So straight away, you know that if you love comedy, if you love subtle comedy as well, you're gonna love Whiskey Galore. But I remember watching this. I've got a real fondness for it because it was one of those films that was always on a Sunday afternoon. There was always black and white films on a Sunday afternoon, at a time when there were only 3 channels in the UK. And most of them weren't working most of the time between the 70s and 80s. It was only in the 90s that started having 24-hour television. So, if it was on, you had to watch it. And my dad loved anything World War II, and he loves comedies. So I've just got fond memories. It was one of the ones that my dad used to absolutely roar laugh in. Him and my mum, they would always roar laugh all the way through. But I haven't watched it as an adult, so I really did want to watch it, which is why I suggested it. I just have remember memories of enjoying it, but too young to remember too much about it. And yeah, I'm really, I mean, number one, it's short. It's an hour and 20 minutes. Fantastic. And it's so trim. There's no fat in that film whatsoever. And it just reminded me when you were saying there's so many strands to it. You've got the guy who is intimidated by his mum and wants to
Yep.
marry, and she forbids him from going out
Yeah.
on the Sabbath and locks him in his bedroom, and he looks like he's about 30, and she's like, "You get up to your bedroom," and he's like all afraid of her. And he climbs up his bedroom window to go off with his
I know.
mates like a
It's like this woman.
10-year-old. Yeah, because it's not hilarious. They set up the scene at the beginning of the film where it's setting it up as this small Scottish island, nothing to do. And when they say that, they have a shot of a cottage and just lots of children, one at a time, running out of the door. It's like, oh, there's very little to do on this Scottish island, and it's just they don't want to say except they're shagging all the time. They, obviously 1949, it's way too subtle to say that. Just have like 20 kids all coming out of this one cottage. It was just hilarious. And when you say about the ship as well, yeah, they're all looking longingly on the Sabbath day, and they wait for the Sabbath, and then when they go to the ship, it's really dangerous, and they nearly get squashed. So even with that, they've got the tension. Right, there we are. The battery was going because my thing wasn't plugged in properly. Um, so yeah, so there was real tension. So right in the middle of this film, you've got the real tension where one of them could be hurt, by all these massive boxes of whiskey, and even like the size of the whiskey boxes. They've got these little boats, and they are rammed. They're like, feet high, 6 foot high. These boxes, and you're like, how is that little ship still floating? It's just hilarious. They've got that, and they've also got the guy who's your stereotypical British captain, busybody, and he's in the Home Guard, so he is the inspiration for one of the most classic um, comedy characters of all time, Mannering, Captain Mannering.
Yeah.
So he is the inspiration for Captain Mannering, and that's been documented as such. So, and it's the comedy there is just getting one over on the busybody, Jobsworth type guy. The only thing I would say, I just felt so at the end when his own wife was laughing at him. I was like, oh my god. The sequel would be like, it would be a murder. It'd be like Psycho, the sequel, wouldn't it? 'Cause everyone, the whole island, all laughing at him. But yeah, I'm so glad you loved it. I knew you would, because this was classic, very funny, very brilliant comedy. If you're interested in comedy, you really should watch that film and see how it can be done. And I really wish modern films would take a leaf out of their book. Why are films got to be like 3 hours long? They really don't need to be. A comedy film could be short like that.
If we want to go, too deep in a way, actually, the women, they were strong characters with a storyline. they had character development. They weren't just reactionary, like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yes.
The women had a flipping,
women had characters.
Could it pass the Bechdel test, do you think?
Yeah, I definitely do think.
They had quite a few female characters in there.
Well, the women were talking about the ship and the women were talking about the whiskey, and that's not the men folk. And I love anything that has the old school phone women in it. where they used to do, what's it called? What's Georgina used to do?
Knitting.
No, the
No.
telephone.
Oh,
The telephone
That's not
exchange.
switchboard.
That's
Switchboard.
the switchboard.
Switchboard, that's
You know,
it.
it's sort of like, oh no, I can't believe the news of the world has done telephone hacking. Oh, go back about 30 years ago.
Everyone would have been
Oh,
listening.
have you heard? Oh.
Well, I noticed at the beginning of the film, one of the men was like saying, "Oh well, she's got her fags and she's got her magazine, so she's all right." Because all the men are fuming because that's their thing, isn't it? It's whiskey is their thing. But and also the really grim mum is smiling at the end, and it shows that because she's had a dram of whiskey.
But when the son comes back and he's drunk and he's like, right,
Oh yeah, right.
it's gonna change.
Yeah.
I'm the man of the house.
And he's so pleased for him, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, his poor mother.
All she needed was a few boundaries and she started to purr like a kitten.
Yeah. Don't go saying that's what women need now.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're gonna beat him.
Don't write that down. The workshop's over now, guys. Don't write that bit down.
It's just brilliant, you know. And yeah, even the interaction. Oh, did you notice? Is it Joan Greenwood?
Yes.
With the voice. Hello.
Yes.
A young Joan Greenwood. She's got the best voice in the whole of showbiz ever. It's just so amazing. She's mesmerizing. She's a real star. I'm surprised she didn't go to America actually, because she's phenomenal. Maybe it just wasn't the time, I guess.
Controversially, did you see the new one with Eddie Izzard?
I really did not. I had zero desire to watch it either.
I
got
did.
terrible reviews.
I watched it on the basis of I love whiskey galore. Da, 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 da. No.
What did Eddie play in it? I'm avoiding those pronouns.
She played. Oh my! Right, what I've got is gallbladder cancer, and Princess Anne on my phone. I love our searches after this show. Whiskey galore movie search. So the internet has decided to Foxtrot Oscar.
Oh, hang on. I will also search then.
Ah, there we go. Got him. Right, there we go. So there you are, whiskey galore. And
well, they even had the exclamation mark. Oh, he played the captain then. Or she played the captain.
He might be.
If anyone can tell me, I'm genuinely asking, if someone says they prefer their pronouns to be she now, in this instance, would we still refer to Eddie as she, even though she was clearly, going by a he pronoun?
That's a good question.
Oh, thanks. We come up with them now and then. If anyone does know, if you don't know, it's fine. We'll ask Shani next week. She knows all that stuff.
Exactly. Let's write that down. I mean, it was a great story that they wanted to retell, but minute I watched it, I thought you didn't need to retell that. You just needed to play the original.
Just re-release the original in the cinema.
Re-release the original. Now, okay. Seeing as we're spitballing,
yeah.
Did you watch the new Dad's Army movie?
I watched some of it because it happened to be on.
Ah, right, okay. I watched the whole bit, and I really liked it because I remembered that apart from two characters, they're all dead. It is not going to be the same as the previous Dad's Army. And I didn't go into it expecting the same Dad's Army. So Whiskey Galore original, really funny. They then did a remake. It didn't work. Right. Whereas Dad's Army, the movie, it was going to be a new storyline. It was going to be the paper characters put into a new story, a new scenario. And I just remembered that they're all dead. And these are new people reinterpreting these characters. I had a whale of a time. Bloody loved it. I've seen it twice since.
Because Catherine Zeta-Jones is in it, wouldn't she?
Oh, Kath is in it. Yeah, Kath's all right in it. Yeah. Yeah,
she stole my life, that woman.
Hey, Kath, start the hype train on Twitch. She loves Twitch. She does.
Yeah. Give us a. Oh, Kath, will you come on our International Women's Day special?
Oh, would you? You can use whatever accent you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's with Whiskey Galore the remake, it was a remake, whereas Dad's Army the movie was a new.
Did they have new characters then?
Well, it was Catherine was new, completely new,
The new
but
character.
also Pike's mother had a lot more storyline.
Great.
Godfrey's sisters were in it and had a huge storyline. Mannarin's wife had shit. It was so much more about the women who never made it. They were just indoors. Dad's Army the movie was a complete ATS takeover, and that's what I absolutely adored about it.
Do you know where you can find Dad's Army? Is it on any streaming service at the minute? Do you know?
Well, it was on. I think it was on Dad's on iPlayer a while ago, and that's where we saw it. But
right,
you might need to. I'll have a look.
I'll do a little search later. It's all right. We don't have to do that now. Oh, I've got a quick fun fact for you as well. Quick fun fact: the guy that wrote Whiskey Galore was in it as well. So you know the bit where the ship is being wrecked. He's the captain on the ship. Compton.
Well, I'm stupid.
Yeah. Ah!
Well, I'll be stupid.
You feel like being slapped in the face with a fish with a ship. Well, now, shiver me timbers. I can do puns and wordplay when I want to.
We're drowning in puns. Right, so I'm going to suggest next week's review. Okay.
Oh, yes, very excited. Yes, go. I'm going to write it down because I always forget until like usually the morning of the Thursday. What are we doing?
I'm just going to make sure I spell his name right. I think it is.
It's a stand-up.
It's stand-up, and you know I usually prefer to champion the women, but sometimes white men that are already famous sometimes need an extra push. I'm just going to
a little go now and then. Bless them.
I'm just going to double check that it's still on.
While you're doing that, let me just say hi, Andy. Andy B says evening sinkers. Whoop whoop.
There we go. Right, so it is, and it is. Oh no, I added an S into his surname. There we go. So this stand-up special was brought to me by my mother. It is available on the iPlayer currently, and it's Jason Mansford, middle class.
Right, good. I like Jason Mansford.
I always call him Mansford. I always stick an S in it. Like, I don't know. I think it's a Welsh thing because I always go to Asda's and I go to Tesco's. I go to Sainsbury's. So I made it Mansford. But yes, I actually belly laughed until I hurt, and it was refreshing.
Oh,
yeah, because he's done so much presenting recently, and he has done amazingly online comedy wise. The Thursday comedy show that he does, I think it's Thursdays or Tuesdays, begins with the T anyway. But he's been doing really good online stand-up shows, and he's been getting on lots of different acts. I did actually email his management and ask how do you get on it, but they didn't get back in touch. Rude.
Maybe no, what it is, the email's gone into their junk folder. That's what's happened there, Lucy. They've just not seen it.
Yeah, they're probably using Hotmail. Bugger for that. But yeah, I have to say this one was brought to us by my mother, and it is available on the iPlayer. If you are not in England or Wales or Scotland or Northern Ireland and you can't find it, illegally stream it. Do whatever you got to do.
I am not condoning illegally streaming, just in case we get taken off the air for that.
Yeah. But hypothetically, if you just type the name in and then put online streaming.
No. Do not. Naughty. Email Lucy if you direct message Lucy if you want to break the law. Mind you, we could do with the publicity if we end up in the papers for encouraging people
All
to
news is good
illegally
news.
download.
Did you see me tweet somebody this week?
I did. I love your chutzpah. I love your chutzpah, Lucy. I've just so got to take it on board. I just cringe inside. I'm like, I can't possibly. It's not, it's so hard. Even people I know, I find it hard to ask them to come on our show. So come on, tell us all. Who did you tweet?
So I tweeted Jenny Eclair, and she replied.
I can't believe it. I was like, my God, just the fact. I didn't want to say on Twitter, but just the fact she replied. She's such an icon. Can you imagine? We'd both be like, we're not worthy for like 20 minutes. I love her so much.
I have program I like to watch the most just when I'm chilled and I just want fun is I probably wouldn't recommend it for the review because it's not a comedy show as such, and I know how you felt about the big comedy night game show that I brought to the table, but it's Alan Davis's As Yet Untitled. I could watch every episode of that over and over and over and over again, and it's just like eavesdropping at a dinner party, and that to me is my happy place. Right. I love it. And I was just watching another episode again, and she came on, and I just thought, why not ask? Because what would a man do? Call back.
Ask Jenny Eclair out for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And I just, what did I put?
It was so lovely to even just say, absolutely, give us a shout. But then I hate to say it, but also Michelle Visage did say, absolutely, babes. Let us know.
Michelle Visage said that we could
message her.
She didn't say she was going to read it.
Really lovely. Let's not. No, come on. I will not have a word said against Michelle Visage. She's an icon, and she knows how to treat people well. I hope nothing ever comes out about her. But then it's generally the men. It tends to all come out about. Not change the subject, but it's like, oh my God, another one of my favourite actors, Shia LaBeouf, has been an arsehole. It's like, come on, guys.
Oh, recently?
Yes.
Because I thought he went a while ago. I didn't think this was him.
Oh yeah, but he was coming around, and that was all drugs and alcohol and being a bit crazy and being an artist, darling. And then, he wrote his film Honey Boy about his time when he was in rehab, and also about his weird upbringing. His father was a circus rodeo clown. And, and when he was on Even Stevens, he was like living in a motel with his father. His father was like his chaperone. And if you want to see what that was like, watch the film Honey Boy. It was just cool. It's quite a hard watch, really, and you think, oh my God, it's so sad what kids are put through in Hollywood. But he's say what you like about him, I think he's a phenomenal talent, and then he's clearly been abusive to his girlfriend, and it's like, and I'll always believe the person who's saying this has happened. I was listening to a podcast that she did with Louis Theroux, and she's describing it all, and I'm like, oh God, because it's he said, well, not everything she's saying is true. He's come out and said that. Not everything she's saying is true, but I want to apologise. And it's like, really? Because she's FKA Twigs, she's putting a lawsuit against him, against his behaviour. But if you listen to Louis Theroux Grounded, she explains it all there, and she'll explain it a lot better than me. But it's abusive behaviour, like being jealous. She's not allowed to look at other men, not allowed to. She had to touch him and give him, as in, like touches on the arm or show him affection, and a certain number of times a day. And if she didn't do that, then that would be a bad thing. And it was only 4 months, but that's more than enough for her to feel, or to be abused by, which isn't a fun subject, so I won't carry on. But I'm just like, Shia LaBeouf. So in the last few weeks, we had Armie Hammer, who was a favourite of mine, being a bit of a sleazy weirdo on Instagram. Might be his personal Instagram account, but come on, guys, you're a Hollywood superstar. Delete that shit. Leave it behind you. Be a decent human being. Look at old John Justice on, was it John or James Justice? I bet he was...
James Robinson Justice.
That's the one. I bet he was lovely to all of his wives. I don't know. He might have only been married once. Anyway, you might notice that we are absolutely filling here. And that's because our lovely guest, Nathan Webb, normally we would, after our comedy review, we have our guest. But Nathan, not only is he a very funny guy and doing lots of comedy stuff, he is also a family man. And his gorgeous daughter has decided she needs Daddy right now to go to sleep. So, yeah, so he hopefully will be back soon. But this is why we are filling at the moment.
I was going to report back on the comedy I watched this week.
Oh, go on then. Oh, I was going to talk about my weird dreams, but you go first.
It's very, very quick. I finally did it. I made sure that I was aware of and bought a ticket and remembered to watch it. These are three different separate things.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
That it happened last week and I missed out is something I've been able to do all over lockdown. But John Robinson and Alice James did they've been doing Isolation Tapes, which is an extra podcast on top of their Radio 5 live show. And they've been doing lockdown lock-ins because John's obsessed with the pub. And it was the end of dry January.
Right.
So he was going to open some cans on the last night.
I completely forgot about dry January this year.
Dry January.
Forgot about it. It's a thing. Well, yeah. No, come on, guys. We got enough going on. Without trying to give up drinking alcohol.
I want a vaccine, not virtue signalling.
Yeah. And veganuary can bloody do one as well.
Oh.
I am practically a vegan. I'm mostly
You're basically
vegan.
Almost there already.
Pretty much. I don't like to call myself vegan purely because then you really have got to be vegan.
Don't put yourself in a box there. Don't put yourself in a box.
I won't, babes.
No.
But I hate with a passion. Like I think KFC is worse than a McDonald's as an organisation, but they're both pretty grim. But KFC do a vegan burger in January, like just for 1 month. Like the rest of the time, the chickens are, their lives aren't worth anything. But in January, all the chickens are like, I get to be free, and then February, no, we're going to keep on eating you. I hate that. What is the point of that? If you're going to be vegan well done. You've been vegan for a month. And if you want to be vegan, just do it. And, watch a few documentaries. And I don't understand how anyone can go, I'm going to be vegan and then go back to eating meat. It's bizarre. I think it's bizarre. Don't be, anyway, I'm being miserable. Well done if you did veganuary, but I'm over it.
And well done if we don't know that you did it because you kept it to yourself.
Yes. Congratulations. Anyway, sorry, I've gone off on one. Lucy, so
I didn't know what to expect because I'm on the Alice and John forum, and it is rather culty. It is a little bit like if he put a load of Gatorade in the middle of the room, we would all drink it up. We are. And it's amazing when I meet other friends that are on there as well. Steph Allen, if you're watching. We bonded on there. You're on email. Yeah, because that's a little Masonic code word you do if you're an Alice and John fan. You want an email? You simply have to these days. Don't ask. And I was always interested to see how they were doing it. Would they stand up for the stand-up? Would it be stand-up section? Guess what? It's basically this.
No.
It's basically this.
And you paid.
Alice has got the bow. John's got Christmas lights because he just won't give them up. And then they had it was a game of two halves, so they had a comedian I didn't know the name of, and it's escaped me.
Mm-hmm.
And Nish Kumar, and Nish Kumar was fucking hilarious. I knew that he was going to bring his A game. Knew he was going to bring his A game. He is exactly what he says on the tin. And he wasn't overly shouty. He didn't take too much attention off the others. He works well in a team. I just bloody love Nish. I just really, really, if it wasn't against the law, I'd like to give him a hug. And then the second half, Angela Barnes and Jen Brister.
Hello, here we go.
And John set them homework. so I can't. I think it was a little quiz they played for the male half. They had a little fun game quiz, and then for the women's half, John does things called mind palaces, where you get given a scenario and you go with it. And it was
Right.
what year in the world would you want to go to? And Jen sort of spitballed and thought about it. Angela had a spreadsheet with different colours.
Oh my God, she came prepared.
Love
She
her.
came to
Just love
play.
her. Just love
Yeah.
her. I mean, that's what you want from a guest. We're going to be playing this game. That's fine.
Yeah, we should come up with our own games then.
It
for
was.
our guests.
I don't know what
What do
came
you do?
first, Alice and John and their online format, or our
Probably.
show. I mean, if you were to say look it up, it was actually us first.
But feel free to come on our show, Alice and
Feel free
John,
to
if
come
you're
on.
watching.
Feel free. I mean, you already know the format. You'll be naturals. But what I liked, it was £8 per household. You could watch it on more than one device.
That's very good.
It was available to watch again for 48 hours. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch it again. I missed the last 20 minutes because I had Big Will Small Talk, and it was just. It says on the ticket it starts at 7:30. Then it said you had to log on at 8. Then it said it was going to be 8:15. Didn't start till 8:30.
Right.
And I had my show starting at 10. So I was really annoyed that I didn't get to watch it in its entirety. Apparently tardiness is something that they suffer from with these shows.
Right. Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, and they've done it before, so they technically should have a system.
I love it, Graham. Graham says, what came first? Traditionally the male.
Hey, Gray!
You came to play. Nice. Isn't that always the way, ladies?
But I thoroughly enjoyed it. It renewed my faith in the fact that it's not just, it's not just in our world that we're doing this. That the Edinburgh Award winners are doing the same format, and it just gave me a little bit of a zhuzh. And £1 from every ticket that was the £8 ticket went to a domestic violence charity. So, and that's anti-domestic violence. That's not raising money for domestic violence.
We love a bit of domestic violence. We do not.
No. In fact,
that's fantastic. Can I tell you my Ellis James story? I have 2 stories.
Go with the second one first.
Okay. I'll go with this one first. It's not much of a story, it's just a fact. He was the MC at my first ever gig.
Oh, yeah.
And he was lovely. So he set me the template. So whenever I put on a gig and there's a newbie on, I remember Ellis, and I treat any newbies the way Ellis treated me, which is with nothing but the utmost respect and kindness. And he just explained everything to me. I've never been so nervous in my life. The room, it was like the beginning of December. So the room was, and the room was dead, actually, apart from a party of accountants had come for a works Christmas do. And it was my first ever 5-minute set. And but he just went, right, he explained what was going to happen. And I was like, oh, okay. And I must have been absolutely terrified. And then I read in this book that I've read How to Do Stand-Up Comedy by Logan Murray, or Teach Yourself Stand-Up Comedy by Logan Murray. In the back, it says, oh, how to speak to other comedians. And one of the things on it is to say, ask how many gigs have they done. So I was like, oh, thanks very much, Alice. So how many gigs have you done then? And he went, oh, about 200, and then stormed off. He probably didn't, but that's how I remember it. He was absolutely lovely. Yes, I can. So only a little bit.
Okay. Sorry, I've got neighbours in the flat above me, and they're making quite a lot of noise, and I didn't know if it was coming through the audio, but that's all right. Carry on. Keep calm and carry on. Welcome to the kitchen sink. First things first, but no, not necessarily in the order. We've got all the right segments.
Yeah. God knows when they're going to happen. Thanks. That was Graham. Thanks, Graham.
Steph and Alan mentioned about meeting Alice James on the forum, and about how Alice made sure that that he was getting food and getting paid and stuff, and it was out of their own pocket. And it's like,
Oh, he is a top dude. And my other story about Ellis is that in Swansea, where I'm from, there's a charity called the Cyrenians, and they were a massive charity to help homeless people. They did, some charities, they have a big figurehead, and all the money goes into advertising and marketing. But with the Cyrenians, they used to have leaflets that were like printed off one of those old printer things. The money went to where it needed to go. And the charity is full of like dedicated workers. And then one effing arsehole, embezzled something like 3 million from the charity, which meant that it had to shut pretty much overnight. And Ellis, who used to volunteer for them, put on a show at the Grand Theatre to try and raise money to keep it going. And and the Grand Theatre, I think it seats something like 2,000, might be 4,000 people. It's quite a big theatre. It's a lovely theatre in Swansea. And he had Rod Gilbert on, Angela Barnes was on. And he was just, it was such a good night. And Rod, he wasn't meant to do stand-up. He was meant to just do the raffle. But he's such an amazing act. It was like he was doing stand-up, even though he's just calling out the prizes of the raffle. It was amazing. But talking about timings, it did go on a bit, and it got to like 11 p.m. and it still hadn't finished, and people were having to leave because, babysitters and car parks and stuff. And as they drifted out, it got to like 11 p.m. and my friend's like, Sarah, we gotta go, we've got work in the morning. I was like, right, come on, let's go. But it was such a good night. It's really, I love that's what I love about live comedy. It's so special, and no two nights can be the same. There's always going to be something, whether it's the audience or the acts. The acts generally, if you don't already know, they're sorry, spoiler alert, but we generally have stuff we're going to say. But some acts are bloody crazy, and you never know what's going to happen. And some audience members are bloody crazy. You never know what's going to happen. So you never get two nights the same when you've got live entertainment. I just love live entertainment. Miss it so much. Right, I'm just going to message our guest and see if there's any likelihood he's coming back. We might have to give it 5 minutes, Lucy, and then call it a day, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, that's fine. Well, it just means that the next date we give Nathan for it, he better have a fucking good excuse if he moves it. Because what would a man say to a woman asking for time off to see her child?
Yeah. I'll just say, look, Haya, we'll just have to give it 5 minutes, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, bless. Isn't that always the way? You got backstage and he was all ready and good to go, and then he suddenly wasn't there, and I was like, he sent me a message saying he had to sort.
I've got the same situation with my mother, but if she starts playing up before a show, I just lock her under the stairs. I mean,
yeah, it's fair,
Yeah.
Okay, while we're waiting, how about let's try and think. Come on, guys, anyone watching? What games can we play with our guests?
Yes.
What is it? I like on Big World Small Talk that you mentioned that you do every Sunday night at 10 p.m. I love that show. It's so much fun. It's an hour, is number one. I really like it because it's only an hour. But I really love it because you've got a really good dynamic with the regular members of the team. And then and then Luke, we would rather you come on. That's so sweet. We'd rather you come on and we give you like plenty of time. I'm going to give you a chance to get a question in.
Like rats off a drain bag.
Yeah. Who books that?
Hey, at least Luke's saying he'll do it and he's watched the fucking show. Comedians, please note, if you are going to ask to be on the kitchen sink, we will test you.
Yeah. We do get lots of people asking, and we're like, we've done many gigs. We've done like 3 online gigs.
A comedian that asked to come on this show asked to go on Big World, And I told Chris I'm not going to make it easy for them because they made it very clear they hadn't watched it. So Chris asked them, what's your favourite part of the show? And they never replied back. That was a week ago.
Well, see, we will ask. We will ask.
Just watch a bit and make it up, mate.
Right. So I love that bit where Sarah flashes everyone. You know, you don't know, Ad. I might be sitting here naked from the waist down right now. Who knows?
Kitchen sink after hours.
I really want to do a kitchen sink after hours show. But it's my birthday in 3 weeks. Yeah, just under 3 weeks. It's my birthday. I don't want to drink until after my birthday, though. So, and we're gonna have a week off for my birthday, don't we? Because I insisted. So for March, which is like the St. David's Day show, I'm gonna be B&M in it, B&M and booze it. Yeah, what games can we play, guys?
What first came to mind is something to do with music. Like what? Not I'm going to sing or play it, but like what song would you play to what situation? So we could come up with a list of situations like break up, win the lottery, need a poo, you know, broken your leg, but like little scenarios in life. What song in your movie would play when that happens?
When you need a poo, what song would play?
No, but little things like, you know, like when you first wake up in the morning, you know, what song would be playing in the movie in your life? You know, some people would wake up and it would be, you know, the opening credits to A Day in the Life from the Beatles, whereas for me, it's more of a requiem. I fucking hate the morning. Some people are like, yeah!
I love that. Worst date stories. Yes. Worst date stories. You know I'm going to be creating an intro for this. You do the intro to Comedy Workshop again.
Quick, gotta find Hammer. Lucy's in the workshop. Worst date. Okay, I like musical accompaniment. So what song would play when I do actually? I think a bit more thought. I can put some legs to that.
I put the song of your life down for that.
Yeah,
the song of your life, and which I know in a week. And what was that about? What were we talking about? Oh, and can someone nudge Ray? Ray hasn't been here all night.
Oh, Andy B still listening. Luke, where's Andy B? Is that our section? You listening? What? We just ask our guest. You listening? Let's have a look. Celebrity crushes.
Celebrity crushes. I can't do any of mine. They're all rotten inside and out. Well, only inside, because outside they are fun and very good actors.
Things to do with your hands when you poop. I'm listening for Dragon Pit. Thank you, Andy. And Andy's my best mate in real life, by the way. Little shit.
Dragon furniture. So the furniture's all dressed up and going, yes, queen.
It's like, I was a bedside table. Now I'm a chest of drawers.
Oh no.
Do you know what? I would love Best Friends Forever. Oh, thank you, Bond. I really enjoyed with Shani when we played charades.
Yeah,
I did actually like charades.
Was that when I was off air because my computer was shit?
Yes, you should have been there. It was great fun.
Okay. Glad you enjoyed yourself.
I hope that sick face is not because of charades, Andy.
No, people said, yeah, love you, love you.
I think we'll please, if you are on Twitter, please add us, and don't forget to mention us in tweets and stuff. And we are at the Sink Girls. This is the kitchen sink. We are girls, and this is the Nope BFF. Suck it up.
Is that a fox or is that what's that? Is that a tusk? Oh no, it's a present.
Oh no, it's two dancing people.
What is that? Why did they make it so small?
To fit in a phone.
Is your Andy your best friend? Is he single at all? Because he looks quite hot in that profile pic.
He is, and he is.
Well, ooh, hi Andy.
Yeah.
What's
Hey,
he
if
do
it
for a
wasn't like
living?
I didn't want to destroy our relationship, I'd get right on that.
Did you ever see When Harry Met Sally?
Sorry, I could just hear Andy laughing. He'd probably reply something along with, she should be so fucking lucky. It's my mother everybody wants anyway.
Sweet not. Sweet not.
Celibate. I thought it said celebrate. Right. So
Andy.
I'm going to suggest that we wrap things up and
Yeah.
rearrange. We're going to rearrange to see Nathan, which will give him. I mean, if we thought he promoted the show a lot on social media, he's got all our other guests to promote now as a thank you.
Yeah. Calpol. Just give him a load of Calpol.
My mother just gave me gin as a little girl, and I slept.
Rum and milk. That's how you do it.
I know.
Is that
I mean,
always
he's
the
Welsh,
way?
isn't he? He is Welsh, isn't he?
Aye.
Yeah. So then
And
he
that
should know
word,
how to look after a baby.
the word from Hugh, was a Welsh word, but the way he spelt it, I thought it was German. And it's Norfanadai. Are there any
Of
Welsh speakers out there?
Ofnadwy.
Avnadai, yeah.
Ofnadwy, which means not very good.
Right, let me get the question out. Let's do the question, because I'm
We'll
afraid
answer
of
it for
what
him.
Hugh will do to me in my DMs if I don't ask somebody this question, because I did not do it last week. Let me get my Twitters up. Oh, and thank you, Luke. He says, "Richard, guys, thanks for the entertainment. What's work? How are you working? Where are you working? What you doing? Araf, ladies. Araf is slow, isn't it? How dare you? You can go off a person, you know."
Araf is slow. Alan is exit. I think you mean Alan.
Oh, exit, ladies. Not sure.
Exit, ladies. Stage left, faced by bear. Right.
While we're faffing about, can I just say, I absolutely love hanging out with you guys. I really love, and you, Lucy, you're all right as well. I love our chats on the sink.
I mean, we didn't have what was that guy called? Whilst he's writing.
Oh yeah, you write the screenplay.
Yeah. What was the guy off Twitter? Twitch. Something to do with Flock of Seagulls or Cake of Death. What was his name? There was Goz, and there's two guys that came on. I thought that they were going to.
So funny. I love those. It was Gaz Dog, and Gaz Dog would just come on and go, and I can't do it. You'd have to go back and look at the chats on Twitch from about 2 weeks ago. It's hilarious. But they like watching wrestling, which is on the same time as us, and they liked it when I was drinking. But the trouble, and I like it when I'm drinking, but the trouble is I am, my body is a temple, because I still have 5 more pounds of Christmas weight to get rid of, and then another 40 pounds. So for this year, my body's a temple for a bit. I'm pretty good at resisting booze. I'm not an alcoholic, but I am not good at resisting sweets and chocolate and cake. So let me say what this word is. So
as well.
he says it's pronounced Hoi en Avant. Hoi en Avant. Hoi en Avant.
But the thing is, the way you spelt it,
that looks like German.
That'd be Goid. It's
Goid en Avant. Goid en Avant.
So no.
My Henland Fernand.
We'll get done for music, mate, with that kind of singing. Turn the radio off.
It's the Six Nations this weekend. It's the Six Nations rugby. You can't be Welsh, Lucy, and not know about rugby. Come on now. Wales are playing. Sunday afternoon. And watch rugby with my dad.
Oh.
Well, I won't. I'll just be sat there reading the paper.
Right. So it says the question here from Mike Roch was Going and Avon's, Nathan. Whilst attending Abertillery Comprehensive, do you consider winning the most comical male award your biggest achievement?
Well, I would say his biggest achievement would be making it onto the sink, but that didn't happen tonight.
Well, he won best comical male. He didn't keep best timekeeper, did he?
Oh, it's not fair.
What did the man say?
It's his own fault for having kids. They're the worst. Kids are the worst. Why does anybody have them?
You knew what you were doing.
Yeah. You know what you got yourself into.
This was
when you
not
got
an
into your wife.
So Abertillery Comprehensive, so does that mean that they actually had awards at that age? So that'd be like GCSE age, actual awards.
I don't know.
Because we in the end
terrifying.
We got
imagine what he's got on us.
We got quite Americanized at our school towards the end. So we had a yearbook and prom, but we used to call it the ball. Because we're not that American, but we had a yearbook, and my most likely was to die a virgin.
Sorry.
Because I was just famous for telling men that they weren't going to get it.
Never going to get it. Never going to get it. I've only just realised that's what that song was about. I thought they were talking about the chips. Never going to get mine. Chips. Never ever gonna get chips.
And everyone was at shoop was about gravy, so put together. Right. Right, so everybody, please make an effort. If you have a way to support us, if you can go on jokepit.com and look us up, The Kitchen Sink, you can find a way to donate towards our tech fees. We completely understand that in these unprecedented times, money is short for a lot of people. So in order to support us, but without entering into a contractual obligation to give us any money, like the page, share the video, tell your friends. If you go on Twitter, we are at The Sink Girls. If you went on YouTube and found us, because if you go on Twitter, we put links to our Twitch, links to our Facebook, and links to our YouTube. For our birthday present for Sarah, why don't you subscribe to the Kitchen Sink YouTube channel to help us get to the fancy bit where we can have our own URL? So yes, that could be what everybody does to help us get YouTube. So if you're listening on the podcast, you can still help us by going onto Twitter at The Sink Girls, finding the YouTube link and giving us a subscribe. Thank you very much.
Oh, Lucy, you're so good at that. I love you. That's brilliant. You know I would have cocked that well up. So thank you. And I think that's it for this week. I'm so sorry we didn't get to speak to Nathan, but we will drag him back on at some point. Yeah.
We're really desperate. He's filling in for International Women's Week.
Oh, he's just said so sorry. So yeah.
Ask him out of 10 how sorry. So everybody set your alarms. This time next week on Thursday 7 p.m. we're going to be reviewing Jason Manford Muddle Class, which is available on the iPlayer, and we're also going to be having my friend from the Drop Comedy Club. Sarah has been to the Drop Comedy Club as well, so knows Ira. He has got the most amazing voice. He's from New Jersey, not New York. They get quite testy about it. But he actually lives in California, and he does great comedy about his family and his ex-wife and his cats, and he does so many jobs. He does so many online shows, and he also does so many benefit online shows for charity as well. He's just a really nice guy and a bloody funny person. So that is what we've got coming up next week.
More importantly, he hasn't got kids, so
yeah, no, he has, but they're 30, and he won't have to put them to bed.
Yay! Good stuff, Ira. Right. Thank you so much. It's been lovely hanging out with you all, and we'll see you next week.
Bye! Bye!